This video will be about simplifying surds. Numbers like the square root of 18 and the square root of 24 are all surds. So surds are numbers underneath a square root sign. To simplify a surd, we first need to express the number inside the square root as a product of a square number and some other natural number. So let's say we have the square root of a. We need to express that as b squared times c, where b and c are in the naturals. And now you can see how that's equal to the square root of b squared times the square root of c. The squared and the square root cancels out on the b, so b comes out of the square root, and c is still in the square root. Okay, so we're left with this final form, b square root of c. Now just a quick recap. Square numbers are numbers that you get when you multiply a number to itself. So basically the most common ones are 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, and 5 squared, which is equal to 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25. Now let's try an example. So example, we want to simplify the square root of 18. Our first step is to express 18 as a product of a square number and some other natural number. So we'll just write 18 equals. Now you want to find a square number that is a factor of 18. So we'll go through the numbers. So 1. 1 is a factor, but we're not using 1. Let's get 4. 4 is not a factor of 18. And we see 9. 9 is a factor of 18. So we write 9 times 2, because 9 times 2 is 18. Okay, so since 18 is equal to 9 times 2, we can go back to the surd and write square root of 9 times 2. But we also know that 9 is equal to 3 squared. Therefore, we can write that as 3 squared times 2. And as we did over here, the previous example, we can take the 3 out of the square root, put it out, and leave the 2 in the square root. And ta-da! We've simplified the square root of 18. Now let's try another example. So example number 2. Let's say we're going to factorize the square root of 24. Okay. Now we want to do the exact same process again. We want to express 24 as a product of a square number and some other number. We go through the list 1, 4, 9, and we find a factor of 24 within the square numbers. And we know that 4 times 6 is 24, and 4 is equal to the square root of 2. And now we put this value inside the square root. So the square root of 2 squared times 6 is equal to take this 2 out of the square root because it has a power of 2. 2 comes out and the 6 stays in. 2 root 6. So basically, that's how you simplify surds. Now, if we have trouble expressing the number inside the square root as a product of 2 square numbers and another number, we can use something called the prime factorization. This is a method that allows you to express the number inside the square root as a multiple of prime numbers. Okay, so I'll take you through prime factorization. Just rub this out. So prime factorization. In order to do this, we need a number first, yeah, obviously. So we'll use the square root of 18. Now, we want to express 18 as a product of 2 numbers, correct? So we first write 18, and we put this little sign that looks like an upside down division symbol, yeah? And we write the smallest prime number that is a factor of 18. So prime numbers, quick recap again, includes 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and these things, okay? So we go through. Usually, you would need to write 2 or 3, at least one of them. So 2 can divide 18, and so can 3, but we want to write the smallest prime number. So we write 2 on the left of 18. And now it's just like normal division. 18 divided by 2 is 9, so we write 9 on the bottom. And we use this little upside down division symbol again. And we find a prime number that is the factor of 9. So now let's look at 3. 3 is a factor of 9. Okay, so we write 3 on the left and 3 on the bottom. We keep doing this until we're left with a prime number on the bottom. And ta-da, 3 is a prime number. Therefore, we can write 18 as 2 times 3 times 3. So what we do is we put a multiplication sign underneath the numbers on the left-hand side and on the bottom. And it just means that 18 is equal to 2 times 3 times 3. Okay? Which is equal to 2 times 3 squared, right? And now we go through the exact same process again. We put this underneath a square root sign. The 3 comes out of the square root, and the 2 stays in the square root, and we get 3 root 2, the exact same answer as before.